All righty. How's
All
everybody
right,
doing?
what's up?
I know it's been a minute.
Hey, it's been a minute, man. It's been a minute.
Oh, hold on, Junior. I can't hear you.
You can't hear me.
Hold on for 1 second. Having some a little bit of
Okay,
technical difficulties, but we're gonna figure it out. Hold on.
okay,
Sound settings. It may be me. Uh,
okay. Hold up,
can you hear me?
hold up. I can hear you. Can you hear me? Hold up. Let me.
All right, I can hear you.
Can
It
you hear
was
me
me.
now?
Yeah, it was me.
Huh?
I say it was
It
me. I
was
had a
you.
setting on wrong, so your audio was good. It was
Oh,
me.
okay. Oh, okay. Well, let me put my things back on there. I thought it was me on this here. All
Okay, yeah,
right.
much better. All right. Look,
All right, much
I
better.
know it's been a minute, but life kind of got in the way, and been a busy summer. But we are definitely happy to be back. Yeah, you got anything you want to say, Junior?
Man, it's been a minute. Definitely glad to be back. There are a lot of things going on that are crucial. And so, man, I'm ready to get into it. I've been doing a lot of reading, a lot of rereading,
Yeah,
uh, and think it is so much information that's pertinent that we need to get out that people need to know so they make informed decisions. Sometimes you just don't know where to start, man.
yeah, and I would like to add that I hope people are doing their due diligence and not relying on podcasts to get their information.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
I
yeah,
just
yeah, yeah, yeah.
we're
Look,
we should be the
look,
secondary source.
what they say. Trust. If I may quote Ronald Reagan, trust but verify.
Yeah. So lot going on. Let's start with some shout outs. It's been a while since we've done this podcast, so I definitely want to give a couple of shout outs.
Mhm.
I'm gonna start with my daughter, Camille.
Okay.
Camille, uh, she has been in Europe for the last since January.
Hmm.
She did a study abroad program from to January to January to May. She
Yeah.
studied at the University of Paris. Her major is actually political science in French, and so
Okay.
was something that's
Parlez-vous
interesting that I
français?
didn't. Yeah, so something that's interesting that I didn't know until I went there. Um, and I guess it kind of makes sense in retrospect. Is that
Hmm.
her classes were in French, so it wasn't English. It was in French. So
Uh-huh.
yeah, so I was definitely very proud of her. Me and my wife, we had a chance to go out there and actually visit her in Paris. We stayed out there for a week, and so it was
Okay.
just very interesting seeing her. How she kind of comported herself, how she spoke the language, and how she had just assimilated into that culture. Uh,
That's
yeah,
awesome. That's awesome, man.
yeah.
Uh, I don't have many shout outs, man.
Well, one more thing. Let me finish. Let me finish.
Yeah.
One more thing to brag on. So she's currently in Berlin right now, doing a for an internship. So she finished in Paris, went to Berlin, and she'll be coming home next month before she starts her
Okay.
senior year in college.
All right. Well, I can't think of any. Oh, our nephew Sammy.
Yep.
Yeah, Sammy, man, Sammy is rising senior at UNC Chapel Hill. He's currently interning in Chicago at JP Morgan Chase.
Yep.
Before that, he was in South Africa doing a study abroad, but now
Yep.
he's in Chicago at JP Morgan, and basically looks like he can, he's pretty, if he plays it straight, he's pretty, can write his own ticket, kind of.
Yep.
So definitely glad to hear that. One thing I did miss, the 14th would have been Dad's 76th birthday or 74th birthday.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, no, 76. Dad would have been 76. So definitely the thoughts of James Sr. Always lingers strong um, in my mind, and especially with how we go about doing things. Um, Now that I'm 52 and reflect, mom and dad, I'm thankful they were very intentional about how they parented us.
Hmm.
Very intentional, and a lot of things don't make sense. But now, once you get up in age and you have your own children and things of that nature, then everything they did totally makes sense. So, shout
Yeah.
out to dad on his late birthday, but definitely both him, mom, and dad. Okay,
Yep. Got one more shout out. My
okay,
stepdaughter Olivia. She
okay,
graduated from the North Carolina School of Science and Math. A lot of
okay.
people, especially in North Carolina area, that there's a campus in Durham, but
Hmm.
her they built a class in Morganton, a school in
Mm.
Morganton. So the North Carolina School of Science and Math in Morganton, and she graduated, and she's the inaugural class. She's the first class to graduate from the
Oh, yeah.
from North Carolina School of Science and Math in Morganton. Um,
Okay.
and she will be starting as a freshman at Chapel Hill in a few weeks. So she'll be starting her freshman year. So yeah, lots of good news.
All right. Well, that's awesome. That's awesome, man. Well, look,
Yep.
I don't even know where to start, man.
Yeah. Yeah. It's kind of I think we can just start with the election. We can
Okay.
start with the RNC. They're having their convention. Actually, let me just pause. We
Mhm.
got to start with the assassination attempt. We got to start
Okay.
there because that's kind of looming large in the background. Yeah.
Yes. Well, the first of all, I'm glad he wasn't assassinated. And the one thing about it, you can tell where people are with things because there were some people who were upset that he wasn't killed. As much as I disagree with the former president's policies, and I hope he doesn't win those type of things, he's still somebody's father, husband, uh, brother, wife. I mean, excuse me, all those type of things. So I don't want wish harm on anyone. That being said, there are some things about this assassination attempt that kind of defies logic with me. I'm not one with conspiracy theories at all. I don't go down that rabbit hole.
Yeah.
But still, there are certain things that still defies logic in certain situations.
Yeah. I think the biggest thing for me is one, echo what you say. Glad they missed.
Yeah.
Um, because like I say, if you have a beef with a politician, then you take it to the ballot box. So
Yes.
definitely don't condone violence. The
Yes.
issues that I have is that when you look at the national media, mainstream media are making a huge deal about President Biden's health, rightfully so.
Yes. Hmm.
But you have a candidate that was just, uh, I'm going to say, shot at, uh, because we still haven't seen any reports other than when he said that he was shot. Now there are some reports that are saying that the teleprompter is kind of what nicked him in the ear. But
Hmm.
what I don't understand is how come the media isn't like hounding down to get some sort of doctor's report or some sort of medical report. I mean, it just does not make sense, especially
Yeah.
in light of how they, how they're, tuning in on Biden's health. So
Yeah. Well, look, man, we're in a society now where it's optics over substance, right? And so uh, the optics, man, it just got dark real quick. I guess a bag storm about to come over, but the optics is that, and that's all people care about. Perception is the reality. And at the end of the day, Trump looks strong. You know, he gives the perception of a strong and command person, even when they were trying to take him off the stage, fight, 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 that's why it resonates with people, right? And
When you
especially
say
with his bass.
okay, okay, I just want you to
His
clarify
bass, yeah.
with people.
Yeah, yeah, his bass, yes, his
Yeah,
bass, yeah. Yeah, and look, I got two eyes and two medical
yeah,
eyes. Like, you know what I'm saying? Um, just on the optics, I'm one who goes below the surface, but but a lot of people operate on the surface, especially his bass. The optics are he was strong and defiant in the face of death. I mean, if he would have
hmm
turned his head a teleprompter or not, if he would have turned his head another centimeter or so, we're having a total different conversation.
yeah.
Yeah,
Well, I guess we can transition into the Republican National Convention. Um,
yeah.
yeah, actually he's due to speak tonight. I've been watching off and on the Republican National Convention
Hmm.
and observations. I mean, just we talk about optics.
Hmm.
Um, when you just look at the delegates and
Yeah,
you look at the crowd, you look at the
yeah,
speakers,
yeah.
it's not reflective of what America looks like or represents. So
Yeah.
you just gotta put it out there. It is
Oh, yeah.
my eye test 99% white.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Listen, uh, the the base of the core of the MAGA movement itself um, is is white, um, and people want to dispute the history, but it is clear. Um, After the Civil Rights Act uh, was passed and the Voting Rights Act passed, um, those Dixiecrats, the Strom Thurmonds, the Jesse Helms, all those people who were Democrats, whatever, that crowd, all of that crowd shifted to the Republican Party. I mean, you can't deny that. And when you look at the convention, like I was looking at,
Well,
y-
can,
yeah,
can I say something real quick? And I think this
yes,
is you just said something. I think you need to clarify it because
yes,
I see a lot of I'm on Twitter, so I look at the news on Twitter and stuff like that.
uh-huh,
Multiple sources, but there's one kind of fact that these politicians, specifically Ted Cruz, Ivy League Ivy League
yeah,
college attendees, when they say
hmm,
that it was the Republican Party that um, that ended slavery, and they say that it was the Democratic Party that was the party of slavery. Okay, so that's out there. Okay,
yeah,
we understand that. Okay,
yes,
but they do it. They post they post their information in a in an attempt to one. It, I think it really the folks who they are targeting. I think it really
uh-huh,
just goes to say how they feel about you and how ignorant they think you are.
yeah.
Okay, so
So,
just go ahead and talk about which is a fact about Republicans and
yeah,
Democrats back then, but we also have that conversation about how the parties realigned. So just
yeah. See,
take us
see,
back in history real quick.
see, and that's the key thing, realignment, right? And yes, it is a fact. Um, the the uh, the Ku Klux Klan was actually founded by former Confederate soldiers, Nathan Bedford Forrest, and all these people. They went and had a meeting in Tennessee, right? For a while, uh, the Democratic Party uh, in the South was the strongest proponent of segregation and all those things.
Hmm.
But see, that's on the surface, right? So let's put some meat to this here. Um, In 1948, there's a famous, and I don't want to get too ahead of myself. Uh, Truman defeats Dewey defeats Truman, right? Truman was a Democrat, right? Truman signed the executive order desegregating the army as a Democrat. The Southern Bloc, the Dixiecrats, which was the Southern Bloc, right? They were so upset with these type of policies, they went and ran a third party candidate against.
See,
So what
l-
I'm saying is that
before you
there,
let's break down how they
yeah,
became Dixiecrats first, for the
yeah,
people in the audience who may not know.
yeah. I'm building up. I'm getting
Oh,
there.
okay,
So
okay.
yeah, I'm getting there. So basically, what I'm saying is that, like I said, uh, that Southern Bloc, the Dixiecrats, that Southern Bloc, the ones who wanted the Confederate flags waving in the state legislature, that was the Southern Bloc, right? That wasn't necessarily the entire Democratic Party at the time, right? As it was in the past, like during the Civil War times. Now, where the realignment really started, and this is why our some of our Republican friends who know better, who push this out there,
Hmm.
they don't want to say this, right? Because it is common sense. Like Lyndon Baines Johnson, a Democrat, signed the Voting Rights Act. He signs the Civil Rights Act, a Democrat, right?
Hmm.
Now, that Southern bloc, those Dixiecrats, and those Southerners who were against integration, against civil rights, against voting rights, who wanted white supremacy and Jim Crow to reign king, those people just didn't disappear,
Yeah.
right? They didn't. They didn't just poof off in the air. You talking about millions of people in the South, right? And so what happened, these politicians, they saw that with voting rights, you had places in the South where African Americans made up the majority of the population but could not vote,
Yeah.
right? And so what these Dixiecrats, these segregationists, these racists, what they clearly understood, Anthony, is that if they, once these African Americans got the right to vote, in numbers, they were going to vote them out. So they needed somewhere to go. And what happened is after the Voting Rights Act, the Civil Rights Act, don't forget the Fair Housing Act in
Hmm.
19 that was huge, right? All of these things started happening. These Dixiecrats kind of started going and shifting to the Republican Party.
Yeah.
Uh, it really took shape in 1970 in the Nixon administration. But that solid block, those Dixiecrats, those Southern Democrat, those segregationists, the ones who were against civil rights, against voting rights, against affirmative action, uh, uh, all these type of things in their society that they didn't like the changes. All these people, they did go to form what they call the Solid South in the Republican
Hmm.
Party. This is just a fact. You can't deny it. And the thing about it, I always characterize the Civil War in this way. One side won and the other side never stopped fighting.
Yeah.
See what I'm saying? And so now what we're seeing now, fast forward, is a manifestation of a long process of chipping away of all these rights that's now coming to fruition. But yes, to your point, uh, yes, the Republican Party uh, did was a party that ended slavery, right? The Democrat Party was the party of the South at that time, but this is 2024,
Correct.
not 1864.
Correct.
So let's not conflate the two, right?
No, no, correct. Correct.
Yeah,
And so when we fast forward and we look at the Republican, and look, some people this makes them uncomfortable to hear, but this is just a
yeah,
fact.
yes,
The when you look at the Republican National Convention, it is 99% white. Okay, let me
Yes,
rephrase. Okay, I'll say 95 plus 90 plus or minus 5, however you want to, but I'm just
yes,
saying 95% they're white and
yes,
overwhelmingly male. That's
yes,
just what it is.
yeah. And so you got to ask yourself the question. You know, uh, I hear a lot of people say that uh, uh, blacks who are make up the majority of the Democratic Party, they're on the plantation. Uh, they're ignorant. They don't know what they talk about. I always like to reference this book by Senate Congressman Jefferson. Clay. I can't. He had this book called. Um, uh, I can't think of the book, but it's a famous quote. There's a quote in there in that book, and it's one of my favorite books. I can't even think of it. um, William Clay, he wrote this book. He said, politics is a strange thing, right? There are no permanent friends. There are no permanent enemies, just interest,
Yeah,
right? And there's a difference between aligning with uh, a party and aligning with your interests, right?
correct.
And if you're and me, I'm an African American, right? And if I'm a person that's concerned about voting rights, if I'm a person that is concerned about holding cops accountable for police brutality, if I'm a person concerned about diversity and equity for all people who are qualified, right? If I'm a person who is concerned about fair lending practices in banks and things of that nature, if I'm a person who's concerned about education, uh, Title One schools, Pell Grants for people that benefited me, then which party is putting forth policies that's going to impact that me on a positive level,
Correct.
right? So I look at my interests. I could care less about the party. You can pull up my voter. I'm
Yeah.
unaffiliated. Like I said before, on the local level, we have Republicans on my Billville board here on the board, right? Some are Republicans, some are Democrat. When I go to
Hmm.
that meeting, all of those guys and lady, uh, they make decisions, and I listen to them. They make decisions that are great for me here. So on my local level, I will vote for them because they're doing things in my interest. Now, would I want that person choosing my Supreme Court justice? No, but that's where the nuance comes in at, right? But in order to make a
Yeah.
good decision, you do have to be informed about what's going on.
Agreed. Agreed.
Yeah.
Um, let's transition to President Biden. So look, I I always say you brought it up about former president, twice impeached, convicted felon Trump. You just brought it up about uh, how he passes the look test, the optics.
Yeah.
Okay. Um, President Biden looks old. He looks slow. He looks confused. Should not be
Hmm.
running, in my opinion. Okay.
Hmm.
Um, there are some reports that are going out tonight. Tonight. If you believe the the insiders,
Hmm.
that he could drop out as early as this weekend. We'll
Yeah.
see. Um, I don't know the logistics around that. Um, I'm not sure because you think about voting deadlines. Um, so
Ballot measure.
I'm pretty sure. Yeah, ballots. I'm pretty sure that. Well, technically, there's not a nominee yet, right?
Yeah.
Because it had to have the convention. So there's time. Okay,
Yeah.
there's time with the caveat that Kamala Harris remains on the ticket, if the reports are true.
So several problems I have. Um, First thing is that uh, one thing, unfortunately, well, Dick, I call spade a spade. One thing that the Republicans have over Democrats that I've observed is strategy and planning. Uh, when when President Biden ran, He really was one term, a transition.
That's what he said.
That's why he said exactly. That's why he said. And what the Democrats should have started doing, right, is day one start grooming or preparing somebody to take the mantle for the next 4 years, right? Uh, that didn't happen.
Well, you can
Uh,
make the argument that that's Kamala Harris.
yeah, yeah, it should, yeah, come on, exactly. But what happened was, and what happened in the beginning when Kamala Harris came out in the beginning, all of a sudden they start putting her in the background for whatever reason, right? But that being said, now as far as Joe being too frail and too weak or whatever to run, your optics are bad, right? That's why you have a vice president that can step in if something happens, right? Um, at this point now, uh, it's like what gives the Democrats the best chance to win, right? And uh, Joe Joe Biden may be frail, right? He may be older, right? But does he know how to pick a Supreme Court justice that won't give a president immunity, right? Uh, does he know how to pick a federal judge that won't make rulings like Eileen Cannon down there in Florida, right? So at the end of the day, um, I'm not with that step down chorus because if you're a president and something happens to you, um, you have a second person, a vice president that can step in? Because at the end of the day, this is August, end of July, about to go into August, right? Uh, you're telling me that it is possible, election like 100 some days away, is it possible for the Democrats to coalesce around a candidate, two candidates, a ticket now, this late in the game? And lastly, um, the biggest irritant to me is the fact that you have George Clooney, right? Uh, these people who are uh, uh, going to these $150,000 plate fundraisers, uh, deciding policy for the Democratic Party, right? I don't think they speak to the base of the Democratic Party. I'm not for sure, right?
Well, this is what I don't think George Clooney speaks to the base,
Mm,
but um, everybody that I talk to that look like me, uh, I'm just saying I don't have anything else to go by.
I
Is
know.
that
Look, look, look,
Joe Biden should
look.
not look.
Yeah,
Junior man, I'm sorry. I think I think he's done a marvelous job
yeah,
as president.
yeah.
Well, speaking objectively, I'm thinking about
Yes,
legislation,
and pop.
job growth. Uh, he's not a perfect president, but in terms of passing legislation that affects
Yeah,
all Americans, student
yes,
loan, all that stuff, I think he's done fine.
yeah.
But I don't think,
Substantive. Yeah, yeah.
yeah, but
But
there's just no way you can just convince me. Look, I saw him walking off off Air Force One the other day going back to Delaware because he had COVID, and he could barely walk down the damn stairs.
yeah,
I mean,
and look.
he just looks like he's just not there. And I don't mean to talk about ageism because I get it.
Yeah, yeah,
Uh, ageism is a part. It is a it is one of those subtle. How can I say it? It's a type of discrimination that often doesn't rise to the
yeah,
surface of the other types of discrimination. Okay,
yes,
but this is not about ageism. It's about uh, Joe Biden should not apologize for being old. He doesn't
yeah,
owe anybody an apology for being old, but he is too old to be for another 4 years to be
yeah,
president.
yeah, yeah. As I say, yeah. I don't disagree, man. I just think that the uh, Democratic Party should have seen this. You know, like I'm sure in the inner circle they kind of saw this early, but here we are, right? And but one thing, I guess one thing, the if whatever the Democrats are planning on doing, um, one thing about politics, especially in the campaign season, a week is a lifetime,
Correct.
right? Like right now, for instance, look at this. The assassination is now secondary news,
Yeah.
right? See what I'm saying? So whoever they can coalesce behind, I don't know, but the problem is that you're going to have a problem with the African American community if you try to move forward without Kamala Harris at the top of that ticket.
Well, I don't. eh, I haven't seen anything counter to that. If he was going to step aside, it was going to be Kamala Harris.
Yeah.
So that's everything that I've seen.
So so
Especially over the last few hours. Their you know speculation is who would she pick as a running mate. They're talking
okay,
about Pete Buttigieg, and they're talking. So I haven't seen any conversation about her not being the top of the ticket. So
okay. So there you go. So who's her running mate? Wow.
that's what I've seen over the last few hours.
Okay. Well, look, it's a tough time, man. And like I said before, it's one of the down unfortunate things about the United States is that in a country of 300 some million people, the average age, the median age is 40 years old in this country.
Yeah.
Um, that the uh, out of all that, uh, the two choices you have at the top of the ticket is an old man named Biden and an old man named Trump,
Yeah.
right? And also is that we still have a two-party system, right? Where there's only two choices, viable choices, right? So you have people stuck in a situation where you're not going to get everything you want in a candidate, right? So that's where we are. So knowing what I know and understand what I understand, um, and knowing what's coming, um, there's no way I can vote for Trump, right? Because we see what's happening. He said what he's going to do. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah. I think if it's going to happen, it needs to happen. It needs to happen now.
Yeah,
And
it does.
if it happens now, if it happens this weekend, then there's enough time. I
Yeah,
think there's enough time.
yeah. So
Um,
we'll see. We'll see,
yeah.
man.
Wanted to show this video real quick
Okay.
because I thought it was interesting. Yeah, let's check it out.
He is unhinged. He is more diminished than he was.
I feel no need to kiss the ring. I have no fear of Trump's retribution.
Donald Trump has my strong endorsement, period.
This man is a pathological liar.
We can fix it. And when Donald Trump is president, we will fix it.
Donald Trump is a con artist.
Make Donald J. Trump our president again.
He said he was going to drain the swamp. He did not deliver that.
Send Donald Trump back to the White House.
I'm a never Trump guy. I never liked him.
We have got to reelect President Donald J. Trump to the White House, right?
All righty. So this is
Yeah,
a
yeah.
perfect segue into the vice president candidate, um, uh, JD Vance. And
Man,
go ahead, I'll let you
man,
lead off because I want to pull up
yeah,
his resume real quick.
man. Look, I remember about a couple of 3 years back, you called me and you said, Junior, man, you need to read this book, Hillbilly Elegy, right?
Yep.
And I said, man, I got too much time. I got too many books to read, man. He said, nah, it's a good one, right? I picked it up and right here,
Yep.
look, I'm not promoting the book, but I'm telling you, it's a good book because, and you're talking about J.D. Vance, um, uh, he he's from that area, right? That area in Appalachia, uh, Kentucky, Ohio, that little area, that the Appalachian,
Yeah.
um, where the core of the Trump support is. But he understands the dynamic. And so when he was talking about Trump uh, in that first clip, he was being sincere because he knows what the place is. But what happens is whoever pays the piper call the tune. And now he's a politician and
Correct.
he's doing what you need to do for political expediency. Do you think these people have changed their opinions of Trump? Or do you think the pressure from that MAGA base start lighting up their backside to kind of adjust them a little bit? Which one you think it is?
Uh, I don't know. It's hard to say. It's hard to say how. I just say he's just not a principled person.
Okay, yeah, okay, yeah.
Because I just don't see how there are other never Trumpers who who are
Hmm.
still never Trumpers. So I think it's just all about it's
Yeah,
all about principles. And
yeah,
what does it say? If a man what's that? I look. I don't know what the saying is, but um, if you don't have a strong foundation, strong convictions about what you believe, uh, then especially if you see that you can your opinions, is who'd you listen to the last time? You're right. Did you
yeah,
listen to the Trump base, or did you listen to donors and all that stuff? But I think there's a
yeah.
reason why Trump. I think there's a reason why Trump picked him,
Oh,
because
no
I
doubt.
think if you look at someone like Nikki Haley, I
Yeah,
think that Nikki Haley, well, let's just start with Pence. Okay,
mm,
I'm not giving credit for what Pence did in terms of certifying the election. A lot of people want to
yeah,
give him credit. I'm not giving him credit for doing something that you were supposed to do.
yeah, yeah, yeah. You're
Okay,
gonna do that anyway. Yeah,
yeah, you're supposed to do that anyway. But
yeah,
Pence did have a line that he wasn't going to cross. I think
yeah,
Nikki Haley is the same way. Nikki Haley is she's a sycophant, just like if you look at her RNC speech. But I still think at vice president, and she think about her legacy, there's a line that she's just not going to cross. I think
yeah,
Donald Trump knows this.
yeah,
Uh, Even Ron DeSantis, to a certain degree, I think that um, maybe there's a line that he's not going to cross. But with JD Vance, JD Vance has already shown that he did what's more than a 360. He did a seven. I don't know what is
720.
it. He did a 720. So
Yeah,
yeah, that's why he picked him.
but and another thing with JD Vance as well too is you know, pull up that resume. You know, those venture capitalists, Silicon Valley,
Yeah,
the Chevron ruling that just came in the Supreme Court, uh, giving these corporations a free hand. Yeah, pull up JD Vance resume. Yeah, he.
but that he could be vice president. And let's just look at how the previous vice presidents, how he stacks up. Okay,
Okay.
he's not even the same ballpark with Kamala Harris, so I'm not even going to compare their resumes. But let's just look at Mike Pence, congressman, governor. Okay, you look at Joe Biden. Joe Biden, a lot of legislation, been in the Senate forever. Uh,
Yeah,
who was before Joe Biden? Dick Cheney.
yeah. Well, here's the thing. Yeah, resumes don't matter. Oh no, what I'm saying they matter,
They
but
matter
in
if you're
MAGA
black,
land,
brown, but if you're
yeah,
if you're a white male, resumes don't matter.
it is exactly that part right there.
Yeah.
That part right there. Um, And
Let
like I
me let
said
me let me
before,
qualify let me qualify what I mean, because I don't want that last comment to come off the wrong way.
yeah,
Um, what we're seeing, I'm not talking about. I'm specifically talking about politics. Okay,
yes,
when you look into the political realm in terms of vice presidents, okay, there is a standard for if you look at what qualifications a vice president should have. Okay,
mm,
uh, a venture capitalist, and I think he's been in the Senate for less than what, 2 years? I think 2022,
yes,
less than 2 years.
hmm
If you stack his qualifications up against all of the vice presidents in the 19th, 20th century, I don't think that it would compare. So my question is, especially in the day and age where you talk about the MAGA Republicans, where all they talk about is DAI. I mean, the New York Post just had a front page that said Kamala Harris was the first DEI vice president.
oh,
Okay,
okay. Really, what were
so
qualifications?
he went to Yale Law School, and then he was a venture capitalist, and then
Yeah.
he's been serving in the Senate for he's the junior senator from the um, from the midterms, 2022
Ohio.
midterms from
Well,
Ohio.
he got he look, here's crazy. He's more qualified than the president. His running
Yeah,
his top of the ticket, right?
yeah,
But no. I see what you're saying is that no, this is just not in politics, and so I'm not even trying to. This is just not in politics. We see where in positions a lot of times where when it comes to the qualifications that even though in certain groups meet the top tier of the qualification realm, uh, they won't get the job for somebody less qualified. It has nothing. Yeah, there are DEI uh, appointments or job selections, but it's not for the group that you think.
correct,
Yeah,
correct,
yeah. So that's just plain and simple. Like they called Ketanji Jackson a DEI selection,
correct.
but I remember there was a Supreme Court justice who didn't even finish high school in the 20th century.
Well, do you even have to
So
be a
go figure.
lawyer to technically? Do you have to be a lawyer to be a Supreme Court justice?
Well, no, you don't. If you're not African American,
No, I'm just saying. Technically, I'm just saying.
that,
Uh,
that's
what are you
look.
saying? Hold on. Fact check me if you want to, but I don't even think you have to be a lawyer.
Now, matter of fact, Chief Justice Earl Warren of California, he was a governor of California. Uh, he didn't have no law experience or anything, and I want to say, was it Eisenhower? Eisenhower appointed him Chief Justice, appointed him, and he was governor, right?
Yeah,
So no, it's not a requirement for some,
yeah.
right? But you will never see an African American or a woman, especially African American, uh, get a judgeship or Supreme Court nod without having an extensive resume.
Well, yeah, they wouldn't even be selected. So yeah, you're right.
It
I
wouldn't be
mean,
selected. Yeah.
um, let's see. There's something else that let's switch. Let me put this in
Man, we
here.
got to get into Project 2025 at some point, man.
Yeah, I think we may have to do I think we may have to just do a show and dedicate that to go through Project 2025. Yeah. I wanna switch gears and talk about something that's been in the news a lot.
Uh-huh.
Miss Caitlin Clark. Caitlin
Uh,
Clark out of Iowa. Oh boy,
Man, it's been that long since we had a show, man.
it's been a
Caitlin.
while. It's been a while.
I don't look. I don't. Why am I supposed to say, man? I mean,
Yeah,
she can shoot.
yeah,
I mean, she's brought a lot of attention um, to the WNBA.
Yeah.
You know, viewership is go up. Those are metrics you cannot deny, right? Um, so yeah, I mean, what can you say?
Yeah. Well, it's just I
Uh,
think it's unfortunate. Is
overhyped, yes. Overhyped, yes. Much.
you think she's overhyped?
I think. Oh boy. Look. If I go silent, the lightning is about to go. So let me make sure nothing. Yeah.
Yeah, mine
Um.
is. Yeah.
Yeah. Um. I don't know. I think that whenever you insert race into it, then everybody picks sides. You know what I'm saying? And I think that it started with the championship last year with the rain thing and all that stuff. One was a good guy, one was a villain, and then I think the thing that kind of I don't know her personally, but I think what kind of got me um, rubbed me the wrong way a little bit is that even when South Carolina, Dawn Staley, um, had an undefeated season and won the championship and the celebration, all the attention was on Caitlin Clark, right? One commentator in the championship, while South Carolina is celebrating, and they're pinning it on Caitlin Clark, this lady said, and I quote, she has done more for the game of women's basketball than any other player in history. She said that as a quote. So once you start seeing that kind of stuff, um, because I'm old enough to remember Cheryl Miller, right?
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
she has an opinion. I
yeah, yeah,
I think
yeah.
she should have qualified that opinion
You
and
need
said
to
maybe the
qualify that
last.
opinion.
Yeah,
Yeah, when you say ever,
yeah.
then that's when I kind of like, y'all kind of slow your roll a little bit and everything. And so, but listen, here's the thing. At the end of the day, the WNBA is not a money making machine. Clearly, right? So if you're going to paint Caitlin Clark versus who's the other young lady,
Angel Reese.
what's your if you're gonna like it did Magic and Bird, if you're gonna paint that dichotomy and that's gonna bring viewership and whatever, then that's what they're gonna promote, right? So that's plain and simple. But yeah,
I
I
just say
mean,
you got to win something.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
That's just. I mean, that's all things aside. I just think that
Man,
sometimes you have to throw that into the equation that you have to win something.
I've never seen nobody look. That's
Yeah.
thank you for bringing it up because she didn't even win they didn't even win the national championship, right?
No.
Matter of fact, the second
They
half
lost to LA. They
that
lost to
that
LSU. They lost to South Carolina. Yeah.
yeah, and matter of fact, that guard from South Carolina shut it down the second half. To be honest with you, right
Yeah.
on the brightest stage.
I just think from a basketball fan standpoint,
Yeah,
um, I didn't really uh, care too much for women's basketball until I
mm,
had no idea who Caitlin Clark was until her junior year.
yeah,
I just had something on in the background, and
yeah,
I just started seeing her. Look, I
yeah.
saw her go behind the back, shoot a three, and then I saw her make some passes, and I was like, "Who in the world is her?" And so for
Yeah,
me, that's when
yeah,
I started following her junior year, and so
yeah.
I'm saying just as a fan, uh, it I can flat out say that had it not been for me watching her, I would not have followed women's college basketball. So
Oh,
and
true.
so it's unfortunate that a lot of the flack that she getting is because of what other people, uh, like
Yeah,
you say, making those the best ever. Come on, it's
yeah. You
those
can't.
folks
Yeah,
who are writing that narrative about her. So
yeah, and yeah, because everybody's gonna shoot back on that. Me,
yeah,
I follow basketball with Dawn Staley. I mean, I follow South Carolina, man.
I
Yeah,
remember. And look, technology has a lot to do with it also, because we didn't
yeah,
have social media back then. I mean,
Yeah,
so we just didn't have all those mediums to be able to watch
yeah.
it. So let's talk
Man,
about
pull
Bronny
up the.
James. Okay.
Boy, let me
Do you
tell
want to
you,
go first or do you want me to go first?
man. So, um, Bronny James. Well. First of all, talk about JJ Redick first, right? Because the criticisms, everybody's putting the criticism on Bronny James, and I can't criticize him, but come on, man, 55th
What?
pick. Look, Bronny. Um, 55th pick in the draft, right? Uh, Guaranteed contract for 3 years, right? Guaranteed, right? So I'm looking at previous 55th picks. That just doesn't happen, right?
Well,
At
let's
all.
see. Great, keep talking. I'm gonna bring it up.
Look up, yeah, find out. Let's try to see, yeah. Find out if
Yeah.
55th pick got a guaranteed 3 year contract. Yeah. Averaging 4 points a game in college. Averaging 4 points a game, not in the Big
Well,
East, the ACC, in the Pac-10.
the college really didn't. I think his. Well, I'll let you go first. Uh, let's see. NBA rookie salaries. Let's check it out. I want to go by.
Yeah. Well, while you looking it up, second round, late second round picks. But while you're looking it up, just ask yourself this question, and this will just kind of put it in perspective. And this will I know.
What?
If this was not LeBron James' son, would he be drafted?
Um. Hmm. I don't think that's the right question to ask.
To a 3 year guaranteed contract. Now tell me the player that was drafted after him from Kansas averaged 21 points a game, a 6'7" swing man, right?
Well,
So are you
you look
saying
at the
that
number
point
two.
average
You
is
look at the
relative?
number two. If you look at the number two pick, if you look at their summer league, the number two pick in the league, Who's the number two pick in the for the NBA draft this year?
I can't think his name. Well look,
Yeah.
yeah, well, yeah, of
Probably
course,
not. Okay, I'll say probably not.
yeah,
If he's not LeBron James' son, probably doesn't get drafted.
yeah. So we gotta start the conversation there, right? We gotta start it there, because I don't remember. Even Dennis Rodman averages 27 points a game, was All American when he got drafted, right? But the thing is, I don't remember any player averaging 4 points a game, 2 point some rebounds, 6'2" on a good day with some thick soles. This is not a slight against him. These are just the metrics, right? I don't remember a person like that ever getting drafted to a guaranteed contract in the second round. Like I think the player before him and after him are still unsigned, if I'm not mistaken.
Well, they
Right?
got to take it up with their team.
Huh?
They got to
But
take it up
but
with their
but
team.
but here at the end of the day, look, LeBron James used his leverage, right? Used his leverage, convinced Jeannie Bust and Palinka, right, to not only draft his son and get him a guaranteed contract at the 55th pick, averaging 4 points a game in the Pac-10.
I
That
I see the points per game. The points per game really is not a. That's really not an issue for me, because he didn't play. He didn't play a whole season. He's recovering. So, I the different
what farther proves the
the
point.
the different. Well, no. You have to look. The difference between the NBA. Let's just look at all the other drafts for professional sports. Okay.
Okay.
The difference, in my view, between the how let's just compare it to football. Uh, NBA drafts on are drafts on potential. I don't think that his game. I think that his game better translates to a pro game based on his athletic ability, based on his defensive ability, than college. Um, I don't see what staying another year would have done anything. Look, we seen people. Look, we seen other
And,
people average 6 points drafted in the first round. But
where?
uh, uh, look, what's Brandon Ingram? Let's talk about Carolina.
Brandon Ingram? You talking about Brandon Ingram from
Uh,
Duke?
no, not Brandon Ingram from North Carolina.
Who?
Uh, who left as a freshman after his freshman year.
You talking
Um,
about way back in the day? You talking about your
look,
boy that went to Boston?
look. I'm just saying. I'm just throwing names out there. But my point is that when you look at the way the NBA draft, they draft off what they think somebody can be. Okay,
And,
how can we judge whether or not LeBron James' son, Bronny James, is going to be a good pro? You wait and see.
and you wait and see in the D League. That's what the D League is for. See what they can do, right? That's what, right? You don't go, like I said before, off potential. You go to the D League Developmental League, right? He's coming straight to the league with a guaranteed contract for 3 years.
I say good for him.
No. Here's the thing. No. Here's the thing.
Yeah,
Good for him. No, don't get me wrong.
he's going to earn
I'm
it.
not. No. I'm not hating on him at all. I'm not
Yeah,
hating on him. But I do know that he would not have gotten drafted if LeBron James didn't pull some strings.
I mean, I'm not. I can't dispute that. I can't dispute
Yeah,
that.
yeah, yeah. And,
But
and, and, and so,
I think right now, because I've been looking at the summer leagues, and I just think it's very interesting how you look at some of the top picks, and
yeah.
they're not as scrutinized as Bronny
Well,
James.
well,
That's the part
do you
that I
know why they're
see.
not scrutinized? You know why they're not
Yeah,
scrutinized as Bronny James? Because the potential they saw in the players was based on them being the player of the year in their conference or averaging 20 some points a game. That's what they're basing their potential on.
Well, that I'm not. I'm all I'm saying is that when you look at them play, you can say that that's what their potential. I don't disagree with that. I'm
Yeah.
just saying that the 55 the 55th pick should not be as scrutinized as the number 2 pick who goes scoreless in a game. That's all that I'm
Yeah.
saying. That's
Look.
all that I'm saying,
Um, here's
bro.
the thing. Look, yeah, the first round picks, the number one, number two picks, yeah, they're gonna have some adjustment, whatever, right?
Yeah,
But like I said before, uh, you say it's based on potential. The potential is based on what they saw in college, and what they saw in college with the number one, number two pick, somebody dominating their league, averaging 25 some points a game killing. That's what the basic potential, and that's the foundation. You're talking about Mr. James, LeBron, and like I said, I'm not hating him. I'm just stating the facts. LeBron, thank goodness he survived, had a heart attack. He
hmm
missed most of the season, right? A lot of the season. He got back on the floor, averaged 4 points a game in a weak defensive conference, right? So take away the James sign, right? Name at the end of the day, your dad been in there like a puppet getting JJ Redick in there because he did a podcast with all that stuff.
like a
You
puppet. Come on, bro.
like you don't know what I'm saying. Remember the Godfather, the pulling the
Hey,
strings.
man.
Hey, look. I said
I
pulling the strings like a puppet. Look, Ant. LeBron pulled some strings to get JJ Redick and his son drafted. You don't think he? So here, put it this way. So you can sit here and say that the decision to bring JJ Redick in and to draft his son right? LeBron didn't pull no strings.
Well, this is
We
this
don't
is
know
what
for
I'll say.
sure, but do you think it's
This
likely?
is what I'll say. This is what I'll say. I would say
Okay.
that in most cases, when there's a vacancy for a head coach position, are you going to consult is your best franchise players or players, are they going to be consulted?
Yes, they are.
Yeah.
Yes, they are. No doubt. No
So
doubt. Yeah.
so
Yeah. Yeah.
I so so in that context, let's just say that it is not abnormal for a franchise player to be consulted when there's a head coach vacancy on their team.
Yeah. And then you bring in uh they asked JJ Redick what's the last game he coached or his only coaching experience. And what was his only coaching experience?
I'm not sure.
It
I'm
was
not
his
sure.
son's, I looked it up, it was his son's fourth grade basketball team,
No.
right? That must have been a DEI hire. I don't know.
Well, I mean, you look at the end of the day,
Yeah.
I think that Bronny James and looking at his game last night where he had his best game, um,
People been waiting for that.
look, I'm pulling for him. I'm not pull. I'm pulling for
Look, look,
LeBron. I'm pulling for
look,
Bronny.
look, look,
I
look.
don't want him to
Two,
fail.
look, two things can be true at the same time.
Yeah, I mean,
I hope he does well. If LeBron wasn't his dad, he wouldn't have got drafted.
yeah, but we passed that. I mean,
Yeah, yeah.
we're past that.
Look,
He's
look,
drafted.
look, look,
So now the question is how do we evaluate him? Um,
yeah.
how do we
Moving forward.
evaluate his game? Yeah, moving forward. That's what I say. I think some people have in their hate for LeBron James, and I'm not saying that's you, but I've been
Oh
looking
no,
at
no, no.
the conversations, and their hate for LeBron James is clouding the way that they want this young man to fail.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
there's
Well,
no
here's
doubt
the
in my
thing.
mind that I think he's a pro.
Yeah.
Uh, and
Well, yeah, he is a pro. He signed a contract. He's a
yeah.
pro. 7 million
So
for 3 years. Yeah, yeah.
so but
But no,
when you watch him play and you understand how he's going to fit into the Lakers scheme, because he's going to play. What do you want him to do? You want him to hit open jumpers, and you want him to play defense.
uh, do you want to create his shot? Do you want him to create his shot, get open? Do you want him to
No, I mean that's not
uh
going to be his
de
role.
de yeah defend self, defend who's out in
Yeah,
that West Conference? Defend, yeah. So yeah, I mean, yeah, maybe JJ Redick will drop something good.
I think y'all gonna be. I think people are going to be surprised at how the Lakers are going to be this year. I think that um, I think that Bronny James is going to contribute to the Lakers this year. I think he's going to be a good pro because he has those in my view, he has those little intangibles, and he got LeBron James DNA. And then you wait to his brother who's coming up.
Now, now,
I mean,
now, now
it's gonna be all
his brother Bryce, he's the one that
yeah.
got all the upside. He got all the upside. So, but here's the thing. LeBron, look, I'm not hating for LeBron because LeBron did what any father with a position of power uh, uh, would do. Um, he made a way for his son.
Correct.
Full stop. Yeah, I mean, this is probably one of the most egregious cases of nepotism ever said. But like I said, Donald Trump hired his son-in-law to be um, over foreign affairs with no experience. He's negotiating with Israel, right? So yeah,
Well, his
so
daughter too. So I don't think it's the most
his
egregious.
daughter too. Yeah,
At least he
with
played the
no
game.
experience. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
exactly.
At least the proper. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So we can't sit here and act like this doesn't happen in society, right? I mean, we see it on in every level, whether it be in corporate America, in the school system, um, anywhere. People are going to make a way for their children, right? So LeBron just did it for his son, and so I ain't mad at him. Like I said before, ain't mad at him. He did it because he could. But at the end of the day, like I said, yeah, if it wasn't if LeBron, if Bronny wasn't LeBron saying he wouldn't have got drafted. Okay, yeah. But now he's drafted, and this is where we are. So I wish the young man well. Yeah.
Oh,
But I don't know what you talking about. You talking
well,
about you, you, you talking about Lakers gonna surprise people.
I think he is.
The the Lakers this year.
Yeah, I think the Lakers. I think the Lakers.
You're
You
not even
know,
saying it with your chest, man. You're not saying it with your chest.
no, look, man, look. I think the Lakers are gonna surprise some folks, man. That's what I believe. I'm a hardcore LeBron James fan, and I think as
Yeah,
long as he's playing, I think you know. Look, there's still time for trade. I mean, you just really never know. You
yeah.
know.
I mean, no, he's trade, or you could have got a good pick at 55. Time about
Yeah.
trade.
A lot of things happen within the season. People get
Mm,
injured. I mean, you just that's why you play the game. And
yeah,
and we'll see. I I just I'm pulling for Bronny James, and I uh watching him play last night, and even just watching him play in the summer league.
hmm
Those shots going to drop.
yeah,
So it's an adjustment period for everybody. Yeah.
yeah.
But I
Well,
think but
yeah.
I
It's
think
a just
looking at the intangibles, I think that he has a lot of upside also.
yeah. Well. This is the summer league. We're gonna
Yeah.
find out when the pros get back. Yeah, so
Yeah.
we'll see what happens there.
Yep.
But yeah, man. I mean, like I said before, I don't wish ill will on him. I'm not gonna hate on him, but I mean, like I said before, I've never seen with his resume, you know, all Americans got drafted in the second round. So, like I said, I've never seen somebody with his resume get drafted and get a guaranteed contract for 4 years. So clearly, his father pulled some strings for the, and that's all right. That's okay, right? Um, for his son to play with him on the same court. So, and so definitely,
Until
more
it
more
until it
power to
happens,
him.
I mean that's the way it works though. It is you never see it until it happens.
Yeah,
so so
yeah.
that's the way it works.
So
Um,
so I'm ready to see how now. One thing about it, um, his jersey is selling. You know, uh, we'll see the optics how that works. But let's just hope we'll see how the Lakers. Let's look like during the year. Let's just keep a little tally of how Lakers doing periodically during the season.
yeah, definitely.
All right.
All right, what time is it? Oh yeah, it's definitely time for you got any
Oh,
a lot to cover tonight, but you got any closing thoughts before we
no, man. Glad to get back, man. Get back going with it. Like I said before, there's a lot going on. Definitely, we're going to have to really do a show um, dealing with Project 2024 um, and what this is what it's doing. Excuse me, yeah, Project 2025. Excuse me,
yeah.
and what it means is actually already in effect. Believe it or not, it's already in effect. To be honest with you, with some of these judges in these positions and everything. But nevertheless, man, I'm looking forward to delving into that. But other than that, man, was glad to get back on the air to start talking with folks and can move on.
Yeah, I want to share something that happened today. I had to go today. Just one of those things, man. It's like
Man, look,
so today uh I went and I had to get a drug test for a position that I'm applying for. Um, I guess you can say that I'm kind of semi-retired, but I don't want
yeah,
to stop working, and
yeah.
so I want to get into the education system. So I'm taking some time just to figure some things out, just to enjoy, just hanging out, doing projects around the house, and so I said, you know
Grass look
what,
good,
I'm a
man. The grass look
yeah,
good, man.
yeah. So I said, while I'm trying to figure it out, I don't want to sit at the house all day. I said I'm gonna be a substitute teacher. So applied for that. Went and got a drug test today, and this a white gentleman said, "Hey, what organization are you working with? And I said, Wayne County Public School. And he said, what, you gonna be a bus driver? Yeah.
Man.
Um, and you know, uh, so and this is, I want to put this out there.
Yeah.
Some of the people who I respected most growing up were bus drivers.
Oh, no
Okay,
doubt.
so
Yeah.
this is definitely
Oh, man.
nothing against bus
Man,
drivers.
Darnell, our
Yeah,
cousin Eric,
yeah,
Bernice,
yeah,
I remember
yeah,
Myra. I remember all of them. They were cool.
yeah,
Teddy Grandma, all my bus drivers. Yeah.
yeah. Um, but when you, how can I say this? Um,
Of all the positions that are available.
yeah, yeah, the drug test, the drug test that I took, it wouldn't matter. Like, there's not another drug test if you're a bus driver or you're a teacher or you're a principal.
Every applicant has to
Every
take the drug
applicant
test.
has to take this. And so I'm
Yeah.
driving, I tried to block it out because, if I would have said something, ain't no telling what he would have did, I just didn't want to go there. But I'm
Mm.
walking out to my, and, and, and I'm sitting in the car and I'm saying, this dude asked me, was, am I going to be driving buses? Yeah. Just making the assumption that when you look at the tiers of job, and everybody has to do a job, right?
Yeah.
All jobs are important when it comes to supporting the school system. But just all it made to have that thought that I was going to be in that tier. It would have been different if he said, "Hey, what are you applying for?
Yeah.
What position?" Then that's different. But just to come out there and just make that statement with that smug look on his face, "Oh, you can be a bus driver?" Yeah.
Yeah. Well, how did you handle it? Because I definitely would handle it different.
No, I mean, I just kind of looked at him and I said no. Um,
Mm.
and he was like, "Well, let me get your license," and it was, so that's how it went.
Yeah.
I wasn't gonna make a scene,
Yeah.
um, only because I don't know what was gonna happen when I left. I don't know. I mean, you just really don't know what
Yeah, I
people will
understand.
do. So,
Yeah. As if he wouldn't do it anyway.
well, I
Yeah.
wasn't gonna give him. I wasn't gonna give him any
Give him
any
yeah.
any needed
Yeah.
motivation. Um,
Yeah.
but the reason why I'm bringing this up is because when a lot of times we talk about racism, we talk
Mm.
about microaggressions, we talk about stereotypes,
Mm-hmm.
um, you know, and I'm just thinking, this man who's labeling my pee go is making the assumption that I'm coming down, I'm gonna be a bus driver,
And
so
it goes back to what I've always say. It doesn't matter what we dress our skin up in, right? You can dress it up in your college degree, um, your 20 some years of military service. You're
mhm,
at seven, putting your business out there, right? No matter what it dress up in, is that there are some people, unfortunately, uh, who is have this mythical stereotype in their head,
yeah,
right? And it always goes to the base, no matter what,
yeah.
right? Yeah. So yeah, so yeah, that's why it is. Yeah.
It just I tell you, man, it just rubbed me the wrong way, man. And I'm driving home, and I was like, this
Yeah.
dude just really just said that to me.
Yeah. Yeah. Here's the thing. It happens so much
Yeah,
that 9 times out of 10, you get accustomed to it, the
yeah,
microaggression. But there's always that one time, and it could be the
yeah,
most minor thing that just, you know what? I'll be daggone. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. So,
So yeah,
all right.
That's what it
All
was,
right,
man.
man.
So we'll thanks for everybody for tuning in, and
Yeah.
we'll catch up with you next time.
All right, man. All right.
All right.
Peace, man.